The student protests have metastasized, which means that they have grown and spread pretty exponentially. I don't think that the BJP-led NDA government knows what has hit them. The key sign of that is that the Prime Minister is being made the butt of jokes in many of the posters and in many of the things that people are saying, that the young people who've gathered in and around Jantar Mantar are saying and sharing on social media. This seems to be a first. It feels like Prime Minister Modi, who has always seemed to be untouchable, has squandered away the massive, almost unquestioning goodwill that he had secured over 3 successive terms. Don't get me wrong, I'm not getting ahead of myself. I'm not saying that if there's an election today, he will lose. I'm only saying that people didn't joke about Prime Minister Modi unless they were professional comedians and stand-up comics. But today, it seems everybody in and around Jantar Mantar has no problem in calling out the Prime Minister for his inability to tackle what is a very, very clear and glaring problem. Now, here are my observations. I'm going to start with the protests. It may have started with the Cockroach Janata Party, and it is still being managed by Abhijit Dipke, Saurav Das, and Ashutosh Ranka. But it was Sonam Wangchuk's fast, a fast that was carried on for more than 20 days, that actually galvanized students and young people from across the country. It was his fast, his direct appeals and updates on his health that really touched a raw nerve and touched a chord with most people who watched it.
मैं आप लोगों से विनती करूंगा कि आप भी एक छोटा कदम उठाएं। 20 जुलाई को इतनी बड़ी संख्या में आएं कि एक संदेश सरकार को जाए, और मैं तो कहूंगा उस दिन सारे स्कूलों, कॉलेजों, विश्वविद्यालयों से कि वो उसे एक्सपीरियंशियल एजुकेशन का दिन मनाएं, NEP के अंतर्गत, न्यू पॉलिसी ऑन एजुकेशन के अंतर्गत, क्योंकि उस दिन बच्चे अभ्यास कर पाएंगे पॉलिटिकल साइंस का एक अनोखा लेसन।
And on the 20th of July, the Chalo Sansad March Day, lakhs of people who gathered were students who finally felt that they were getting a chance to express how they felt about what was going on around them. And this actually begins with education or the education system and goes on to the opportunities that are available to make a decent life in India today. Watching these videos, so many young people from different parts of the country, different backgrounds, all united by that standard student accessory, the rucksack, and the unequivocal belief that the system had totally let them down. Desperate circumstances, an uncertain future, the sense that injustice had been done to them, and a desire to be heard and to receive a healing touch. It is so clear what the students and the youth want is an effective, accountable, and responsive government, and not necessarily a new government. What I mean by that is that nothing of what we can see and hear about the student protests at Jantar Mantar organized by the Cockroach Janata Party and the organic protests that have developed around it are not about a revolution, no matter what the establishment and all the so-called supporters of the establishment have to say.
धर्मेंद्र प्रधान तो बहाना है, इनको देश जलाना है.
All those commentators talking about anarchists and anti-nationals, you must really stop and conjure up some new bogies to push your agenda and narrative, because that false argument stopped fooling people a long time ago. Let's talk about how the protests were handled now. It's appalling that a peaceful march was met with such brutality. From barricades and internet shutdowns to tear gas shells and lathis, the Delhi police, that reports directly to the Home Minister, treated these young people like petty goons and thugs. Nearly 100 people were treated in hospitals and many others detained.
पुलिस ऐसी होती है, पुलिस हमारे लिए होती है कि जिससे जो हमारी दिक्कत सुनने के लिए होती है कि किस लिए होती है.
मेरे परिवारजनों, विकसित भारत के लिए देश की नारी शक्ति, युवा शक्ति, किसान और हर गरीब का विकास होना बहुत जरूरी है. मेरे लिए तो यही 4 जातियां ही सबसे बड़ी जातियां हैं।
For a prime minister who has always talked about his special connection with the youth and who does a pariksha pe charcha as a marketing hard sell, his studious silence and willful blindness to what was happening outside parliament on the 20th will not be forgotten easily.
मॉनसून हो या मॉनसून सत्र, अगर दोनों प्रोएक्टिव हो तो बहुत ही प्रोडक्टिव होते हैं.
Let's look at the opposition. There have been mixed feelings and questions about the antecedents of the Cockroach Janata Party. Was it an AAP-supported front? Should opposition parties risk letting a new formation grab mind space and perhaps going forward electoral space? But with Sonam Wangchuk's fast, and not just Sonam Wangchuk, remember there were students who were on fast as well, all opposition parties, including the Congress, went across to show some support and solidarity. Rahul Gandhi may have stayed away, but after July 20th, he merged the Congress's Chhatron Ka Goonj and the agitation and the concerns the Congress was raising on behalf of students and made common cause with the CJP. The opposition as a whole may finally have an issue that can give it something powerful to beat the BJP with: education. In India, remember, above everything else, I'm going to repeat that so that you understand exactly how important it is. Education above all else, above religion, above caste, is the most valued, most prized asset for an Indian, because that's the one thing that can flip the script of your life. A quick word on the media. Television news media really showed itself in the worst possible light. We all knew that television news was seen as the propaganda department of the government, but this CJP Jantar Mantar protest and the police brutality that we saw on July 20th has underlined this unequivocally. I've spent many decades in mainstream news television, and I must say, I feel very, very ashamed of what news TV has come to be. If the world and if the rest of India got to know what was happening at Jantar Mantar, it was only because of social media and all the posts, videos, etc. that were being uploaded and shared on social media in real time. And remember, there was an internet shutdown in those areas on July 20th. The incredible work done by independent journalists and independent media outlets, both new digital media outlets as well as legacy media, especially in the newspapers, is what helped people know what was really happening on the 20th of July. And we have to come full circle to the judiciary. As you know, the word cockroach has entered the Indian political lexicon because of a statement made by the Chief Justice of India.
Youngsters like cockroaches, they don't get any employment, they don't have any place in profession. Some of them become media, some of them become social media, some of them become RTI activists, some have become another activists, and they start attacking everyone.
And it should not come as a surprise that the Supreme Court said it did not have time to look at videos and all the videos that lawyers were putting up as proof to talk about the police brutality on July 20th. In short, the Supreme Court didn't have time to worry or listen to a breach of your fundamental rights. This protest has evoked many feelings in me. I've been amused, I've been anxious, I've been skeptical, I've been entertained, I've been outraged, and I have been deeply hopeful and very, very impressed. It seems that the young people of India understand that it is their right to ask questions, it is their right to seek accountability, it is their right to dissent, and that they are not afraid. They are fearless and they can have fun while they express what they believe in and what they want. All of this are the SOP or standard operating procedure for a democracy.
पहला प्रोटेस्ट है, बस पेपर लीक नहीं होना चाहिए और कंट्री हमारी बेटर होनी चाहिए, बेस्ट होनी चाहिए.